Hey everybody, welcome to Thursday. Amedeus, I gotta say, man, and, and then there were none. Basically, it only took 2 days to get the playoffs, extended to Saturday when we get the NLDS and the ALDS series going on. But nobody could win, you know, uh, uh, or extend, I should say, the series. They were gone in 2 days.
Yeah, it
Yeah, it
almost
almost
makes
makes
the
the
two out of
two out
three
of three
series pretty
series pretty
useless.
useless.
In this case, yeah, it does. I guess the underlying thing for me was pitching. Yeah, and there was pitching coming from some very interesting places, not where we would have thought or hoped they would come from, but there were some stars there on the pitching side that people stepped up and did their job.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah, a
of
lot of
offense too with these teams. Like the Rangers came out, the Phillies came out.
Okay, so I don't know if you saw the game yesterday with the Blue Jays, but um, there was the pickoff play that got, I think it was Vladdy, right? He was on second base. Anyway, they ran that pickoff play, and I couldn't believe that he didn't see the guy coming.
I didn't catch the game live.
Okay, well, no problem. What happened is he saw the second baseman, okay, and the second baseman didn't move, and he looked behind him, and he saw the shortstop was there, but the shortstop wasn't really there. The guy put his glove out like so. Vladdy saw the glove, assumed the guy was there. The guy's bolting to second base. Vladdy doesn't move. They throw the ball to the second baseman, and he tags. The pitcher turns, throws to second. They get him. Um, it killed the rally, and perhaps who knows how it would have ended. But at least the Jays, went out as best they could. So the teams that everybody thought were going to win, Tampa Bay and Toronto, didn't. I'm not sure how many people thought Minnesota was going to win, but they got through. And then, of course, Arizona surprised everybody. So we have a little bit of surprise everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. The Phillies were probably the most straight.
Yeah, that was a lot. Yeah. I don't think they surprised anybody. Perhaps they surprised us because I don't think Aaron Nola was going to pitch that well, but there it goes, right?
Yeah, I'm shocked at how Braxton Garrett not well at all.
Mm-mm. It was weird. It was totally weird. Let's run through real quick the playoff schedules for this weekend. The ALDS is going to be game one. That's Orioles-Rangers game at Camden Yard. That's a 1:03 start. It's on FS1. It's not on Big Fox. And LDS game number 2, which is the Astros and the Twins. That's a 4:45 start. Again, that's on FS1. Your evening games, Braves and Phillies. There's a throwback to last year. 6:07 first pitch. That's on TBS. And then the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks at Chavez Ravine. That's a 9:20 first pitch on TBS. So all of your, to make it simple for you guys, all the American League action will be either on Fox or FS1, while the Braves and the National League Series, that's all going to be on TBS, which can be streamed as of about an hour and a half ago on Max. So if you have Max, you got the NLDS, and Fox does not stream. So therefore, it's either on Big Fox if it's over the air, or if it's on FS1, then you got to get it through either cable or some of these streaming packages like SLING or others. So that's how you follow it. And game one begins on Saturday. It's best 3 of 5 series. So there you go. All right, today. NFL tonight. The prime game is, Chicago and Washington, and that just might not be enough to juice people up to want to go and watch it, but it's who plays. Because on Thursday nights, at the end of the season, everybody's had to have a Thursday night game. So, which, by the way, is a lie because 3 teams last year didn't get it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that's disappointing. The long and the prime time games.
Right. tonight we've got Western Kentucky and Louisiana Tech, and your Liberty taking on Sam Houston. So a couple of decent college football games from Conference USA and from Liberty's not Liberty got into the conference this year, right?
Yeah,
this is their first season.
Right. Okay. So then we got a bunch of Conference USA, not Maction yet, but Conference USA.
Yeah, we had some Conference USA games last night too.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville State with a big upset.
There you go. What about Florida International and New Mexico State?
New Mexico State pulled away in that one. They had 17 points in the fourth quarter.
Yep. And that left everybody else in the dust. So there you go, boys and girls. Let's break down for just a second tonight's football game. What's the line on it? And I'm going to guess, because I haven't seen, I'm going to guess that it's the Commanders and less than a touchdown.
Yeah, so that one opened around 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
It got up to 7.
Really?
It's back at 5.5 right now.
Okay. I don't know. I think that I was joking a few seconds ago when we were, in the pre-show that Chicago's everybody's homecoming team, right? Because theory goes in when you're in college or in high school, you schedule the weakest opponent for your homecoming game because you want everybody to show up and enjoy themselves and watch them beat up on somebody. Well, it seems like this year, if you're in the NFC, it's certainly Chicago. If you're AFC, it's probably Denver. But I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with Chicago. I just don't. They just cannot, for the life of them, find a way to win.
Yeah, I was expecting the Chicago team to be better this year.
Mm-hmm.
They have not been. They've been very bad in four games, specifically their defense.
Mm-hmm.
They almost got the win last week, but then again, the Broncos, their defense hasn't been that good either.
Right. Well, you look at the stats thus far through through these 4 games, and you've got Chicago scoring less than 20 points a game. You're just not going to win when that happens. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah. Now the one bright side for them is they found a bit of offense in that last game.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at this Commanders defense, they've given up 30-plus points in their last 3 games.
That is true. There is no question about that. But it's kind of a fun thing from the standpoint of what's going on. We joke about Riverboat Ron, but it's really Eric Bieniemy has done a really good job from offensive coordinator of kind of coaching them up to play as well as they have so far. And at the end of the day, that's all you can do. And I think the addition of Bieniemy was quite good. And Sam Howell, who's basically quarterbacking the team now, they've got a good young kid that they like, and he seems to be very good at managing the games.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if Bieniemy is the head coach next year. Ron has not gotten it this year.
In fairness, I really think that Bieniemy been and he should have been the guy for a number of teams who blew by him for some reason. But yeah, I would. I think that what's going to happen, to your point, is they've got new ownership now. I think as far as Ron, they may because in fairness to Ron, he has kept some sort of equilibrium at Crazy Town out there in Virginia. So they may kind of an associate manager or something, in the organization if that's where he wants to go. But I don't think that he's going to be the coach of the Commanders next year. We'll see, but I don't think he is.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, not with the
Well,
way
Definitely.
last
Not
year
with
was.
the way last year was.
Yeah.
You got to know
You
if your
gotta
team's
know
making the
if
playoffs
your
or
team's
not. Like,
making the
you need
playoffs
to
or
know
not.
those
Like
things.
you need to know those
And
things.
Before the
And
game would be good, yeah.
And then his response
And
to
then his response
last week's
to
loss at
last week's
Philadelphia
loss at Philadelphia was
about how his team was,
about how his team
gassed
was
in the overtime.
gassed in the overtime.
Well, why aren't you going for two?
Well, why aren't you going for two
instead of tying the game?
instead of tying the game?
He had them on their heels. I mean, they could have gone for two and most likely gotten it. But the moment you go, I mean, you're on the road and you choose not to do that, to go for two. And all those analytics guys are standing there next to the coaches pointing to boards going, no, this is what we should be doing. And evidently the one time the Riverboat Ron chooses to be conservative Ron is the time he ends up getting burnt by it.
Yeah, and the other thing, when he first got there, that team was awful. But they at least had a good defense under him. And it seems like every year now the defense has been going downhill.
Well, part of it too is because of management's inability to sign these guys when they get available to go. It's kind of like, yeah, I think I'm going to go someplace else. And so, yeah, they haven't really been able to keep some of the key players that they're going to have to. But I think moving forward, and we don't know how this is going to work, but moving forward, I think with the new ownership group, it's going to be a better and less toxic situation for the players and also obviously for the fans. I mean, they're coming back to Landover, which they had been running away from Landover for a number of years. And I think that if the indication is such that the ownership group also owns the Philadelphia 76ers, and they are putting together what in essence is what Stan Kroenke has out in Los Angeles, which is a portfolio, and John Henry in Boston, a portfolio of a number of teams, and running them basically and hopefully as well as they possibly can do it. So that seems to be the plan. Now, not everything goes to plan, but that is the plan. And so, I would not be surprised if Bieniemy got the job. I would also not be surprised if after this season that Mike Tomlin may step down as the Steelers coach. That wouldn't surprise me.
Really?
I think Mike is. Mike's had a run here, and I don't know if he's enjoying it. He certainly doesn't look like he's enjoying it anymore. And I'll tell you what, if there was a guy who was ever, built for broadcasting, it's Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin will step off that sideline and into a broadcast booth, and he will be one of, if not the top analyst in the NFL. His ability his press conferences are just, they're amazing. They're detailed. He does not do coach speak. If somebody screws up, he says it. He obviously blames himself first off, but then somebody else is going to get it too. So he's a very honest, very interesting character, and is such a well-read guy that there's a number of different topics you can go off on, and he's got it. So if he doesn't decide to stay with the Steelers and does decide to move on, it's going to be to I'm sure to one of the networks. It's he's got that kind of it factor from the standpoint of he's very intelligent, he's good, and he knows how to talk. So that's helpful by all means. So there you go. Let's take a quick look at the Major League Baseball. Now, the Orioles-Rangers is an interesting matchup to me. The Orioles have the best record. The Rangers are hot, and I don't think that skipping 6 days is going to give the Orioles any grief from the old rust factor. I don't think that's going to be a problem. And I think that when you're talking about 50,000 people or 46,000 people at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, making hella noise, you got to believe that that's going to be a little intimidating. But then again, the Rangers doesn't seem that they're too bothered by what's going on.
Yeah, and the Rangers, they went on the road in a tough place to play. Obviously, there was no fans for the Rays, but we're talking about a team that was, 20 wins, over 500 at home this year.
Mm-hmm.
So the Rangers are definitely battle tested. And now they're going to go on the road again against Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely going to be a good series.
Yeah, for sure. The Astros Twins, that's an interesting one.
That one we might be looking at a sweep.
Yeah. Rocco Baldelli got his team there. He gets the prize, and the prize is the Astros. What can you say? I mean, Dusty Baker's team is battle tested. They've won championships. It's not like they definitely have been there, done that. So nothing's going to be too big for them. And the Minute Maid Park down there where the Astros play, with that very friendly, left field fence, that's got to be very enticing to that Astros offense, which is that's the problem the Twins have. They don't have the offense of the Astros. Now, if they can get the pitching, who knows? But I'm like you. I don't think that this is going to be a long series. But speaking of long series, as we downshift to the American League to the National League, the Braves and the Phillies, that's a redo from last year. Those are two good teams. They know each other. They played each other in the same division. And the Braves, on paper, just like last year, the Braves on paper should easily win this series. But again, A, it's the Phillies, B, it's not on paper, and the Phillies are a totally different team when it comes to October.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we saw them get hot in the season last year. They went all the way to the World Series.
Right.
The Braves are rested, which you could call a plus coming into this one. Obviously, they have the home advantage as well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a bit of a revenge factor there as well.
Well, and if you look at both those lineups, they are just stacked. I mean, you can't, you can match a 1 for a 1. You have to go down to maybe the third, the fourth, the fifth or sixth player on the, Braves and Phillies lineups to actually get what you would consider even just a, pedestrian player. I mean, those guys are rakers on both sides. They can hit, they can play. They're going to be a lot of fun. They're definitely going to be a lot of fun from that standpoint. And I do think the other thing, which is entertaining, I don't know if it's going to be good, we'll find out, is these two teams really don't like each other. So there's that. As you said, there might be a revenge factor. I guarantee you there is a revenge factor. But the Phillies aren't intimidated by the Braves. The Braves aren't intimidated by the Phillies. So it's just a good old-fashioned backyard brawl with these two guys.
Yeah, that'll be one of the best series for sure. That one with Rangers-Orioles.
Right. Now, you're going to have to explain this one to me. Because you've been on the Diamondbacks for a long time, my friend. And, the little engine that did. And so there they are. They're taking on the Dodgers. And again, the Dodgers have the same kind of lineup the Braves do. They just don't have the pitching the Braves do. And we'll see. But the Diamondbacks have been overachievers. Are they scary, or are they just, at this point in time, they're there to face the Dodgers, and the Dodgers should, win this in 4 or 5 games?
Yeah, I really like the Diamondbacks during the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were a really good team. I thought they were going to get into that wild card spot. They did lead the NL West for the first half of the season, or at least most of it anyway. I didn't think they were going to get past the Brewers, mainly because the Brewers have some of the best pitching in the MLB.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, the offense showed up for that Diamondbacks team, and we know the Dodgers. So I think we're going to see a lot of scoring in this series. And especially with that Diamondbacks pitching, probably they're going to need to score to win this series.
All right, let's go through some headlines. Can any Pac-12 team make it through the conference undefeated? Question being asked by our friends over on Twitter. Good question, friends on Twitter. Yeah. I don't know. I would have to say, if I could see either Oregon or Washington, maybe. I really, it's going to be tough. They're all good, so I really don't know. You can't sleep on any of them for that matter. So I don't know. What about you, Amedeus? How do you see that? I know we both are big on Oregon and Washington, but I don't know if they could stay undefeated because they have to play each other.
Yeah. The Pac-12 is definitely the best conference in college football this year.
Right.
Now, a lot of people have that same opinion that the conference is just going to end up beating each other, and there's going to be much of maybe one or two losses in the season.
Right.
I kind of disagree with that. I'm with you. I think Washington, Oregon are the two best teams in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
I know they play each other. I think is that one might be next week.
I believe so.
But yeah, I think whoever wins that game goes undefeated this season.
They could. Yeah. I mean, they're like, there's a lot of good teams in the Pac-12, and any one of them, on any given Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Tuesday, they could pull it off. I do think though that whoever wins the game, I'm on your side. Whoever wins that game should go to the college football playoff. As one of the top teams there. But I could actually see if there was a no-loss Washington and a one-loss Oregon, I could see them getting two in there. The SEC is not strong this year, and certainly isn't. On paper the Big Ten's, the Big Ten is supposed to be good, but I don't buy it. I just think this is the year the Pac-12 might get. Certainly going to get one. They may get two. They
deserve.
I would think so, yeah. So your thoughts? Lionel Messi called up by Argentina for the World Cup, despite an injury. So what do you say there, boss? This is your bailiwick. The question is whether Lionel Messi, who's been called up by Argentina for World Cup qualifying, is going to go despite his injury.
I'm sure he'll go and support the team. He'll probably be at the matches.
He's not going to
whether he plays. Yeah, that's going to be a different story. If he does play, coming on as maybe a late sub, last 20 minutes. These are only the World Cup qualifiers as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't looked at the October international break yet.
Right.
But if they're playing weak teams, they're not going to need it. Really, Messi, the only team they could possibly need him for is their game against Brazil.
Right. True. Here's one for you. And it just came through, and they specifically wanted you to get this one. All right. With Mac Jones in a make-or-break season, is he going to be the Patriots quarterback next year?
That's probably a question more for Robert Kraft. If you ask me, he wouldn't even be the starting quarterback this year.
Right.
I wouldn't have brought him back. It would have been Bailey Zappi starting.
Right.
So if you want my honest opinion, no, he should be starting quarterback next year. But is he going to be? Maybe. Robert Kraft seems to like a lot.
Yeah. I'll be
Might
honest.
not have Belichick coaching the team, but we'll see.
Yeah. I personally, look, I saw him in the SEC championship game with Kyle Trask. And in that game, Kyle Trask was a better quarterback. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a Gator fan, because a week later they got crushed because, only Kyle Trask showed up for the bowl game. The rest of the guys who were headed to the pros decided not to play in the game, so that left him with, third and fourth string receivers. But in that Alabama team led by Jones, I I just don't think Mac Jones was as good a quarterback as, you know, advertised. Just like I don't think Kyle Trask is as good a quarterback as, you know, as was advertised. So I don't know. I'm with you on that. I don't understand. There's got to be somebody. I mean, they could have drafted somebody this year. I mean, it's not like the Patriots have, you know, are high up on the draft sheet anymore. They can get to that. So, all right. Bill, what do you want? Bill, what do you want there, right? Okay, Bill asked this question of us. Tua has been more assertive this season. Do you think it's giving the Dolphins a new winning identity? It's a good question. I would say yeah, but I'm going to let you go first. Go ahead.
Yeah, I definitely think so. This team was really good last year. Obviously, they were playing with the concussions for Tua.
Right.
Who knows what they would have done if he played the entire season out. And obviously, that's been a concern on our minds this year. Because Tua even felt to go out and take, what was it, karate classes or something?
Yeah.
No, I think it was judo.
No, you're right.
He learned to fall safely
Mm-hmm.
and not on the head. And honestly, I think that's something that's going to help them this year. Just because when he's sacked, he's going to avoid injuries with this new style of football.
Yeah, and people forget that when Tua played last year, there were times when the Dolphins were down to a third-string quarterback because the second-string quarterback got beat up. So it wasn't just Tua last year. It was, you know, the quarterback room at, you know, at the Dolphins was like a triage. So yeah, and as far as a new identity, I think the identity for the Dolphins certainly under, you know, this regime has been, you know, that they can score on people, that they've got speed and they're using the speed properly. So yeah, I mean, I think they're aggressive. They're probably, if they had a 4x100, they'd probably be the gold medals in that situation with the burners they've got, and they've got not just, they got runners who are, you know, are not just wide receivers. They got running backs that are running, you know, like a 4.4, 4.3, 40-yard dash. So yeah, I mean, has the Dolphins have a new identity? Well, the new identity is they're not losers, so that's a good identity not to have. So yeah, I'm going to go with yes on that one. So there you go, boys and girls.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of flair in that offense too.
Yeah, you know, it's not quite, you know, the fastest, you know, in turf like we saw with regard to the Rams back in the day, but they're still not a bad, you know, not a bad group. Okay. Well, Jeff 21. All right, Jeff. I don't know if that's your age or whatever, but anyway, Jeff 21. Who's your top 5 in the NFL from a standpoint of power ratings? Want to go first?
Yeah, sure. 49ers, Dolphins, and this would be 1 to 5.
Right.
So 49ers, Dolphins, Eagles. I'd say the Cowboys. Very good defense when they're healthy. And number 5, I guess the Bills. Just their defense has really stepped up over the last few games.
I'm going to go San Francisco number 1. Who did you have there too?
The Dolphins.
Dolphins. I'll take. All right, I'll go.
I know that defense is scaring you.
I want to say it, you know, but it's like, all right, just to be different, I'll throw Kansas City in the mix and say I'll take San Francisco, Kansas City, the Dolphins, the Eagles, and I got one more, Detroit.
I like the Lions. I really like them.
We'll see.
I was going to take them to win the division,
Mm-hmm.
and then I saw they were favorite, and I was like,
yeah, no, way more. So, here's another question for us. This is from Jackie. Jackie wants to know, do we believe that C.J. Stroud is going to continue to be a legit starting quarterback. Well, he certainly got me sold. And I'm not big on anybody who knows me. I'm not big on Ohio State quarterbacks, but it's hard to argue what he's done down in Texas.
Yeah, it's only been 4 games.
Right.
Let's see what play a full season.
True.
You know who else looked really good in their first season? He's also an Ohio State quarterback.
Who's that?
Justin.
Yeah, just insane. Yeah. Okay. No, I get it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not big on the quarterbacks, but in that small sample size, he's looked good. So, good on you guys.
Yeah. Am I saying he's going to be a one and done in Houston? No, he can definitely be the franchise back going forward. But let's not crown them anything. They're 2-2. They could lose the next 10 straight games. There's not a lot of talent on that roster in general. Obviously, they have a big coach, especially on the defense. But the talent on the offense and the defense is not there. So even if CJ Stroud takes a bit of a dive towards the end of the season, I wouldn't hold that against them just because of the talent around him. I think this is the bottom 5 roster in the NFL.
Okay, here's one from Sally. Okay, I was trying to figure out. Sorry, Sally, I couldn't read it there for a second. My problem. Is Brock Purdy underrated? Well, whenever people start talking quarterbacks in the NFL, Brock Purdy's name isn't one of the first ones to come up. But I guess it should. I mean, he certainly has proven that, at the moment he's as good as anybody in the league. So, perhaps he is underrated.
Yeah, I would definitely say he's underrated. Obviously he went last in the draft.
Yeah, Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, we're talking about a guy who had over 65% completion percentage in all his years in Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since plugging him into the 49ers, and you can look at last season alone, with Jimmy Garoppolo running the offense, they were not scoring a lot of points in those games. They were finding ways to win, but that's because they couldn't get defense under contract. As soon as they plug Purdy into the equation, this is a team that's been averaging more than 30 points a game in every single game.
Mm-hmm.
I think the stats are there. Mm-hmm. I think the eye test is there. Brock Purdy's a legit quarterback. He's definitely underrated.
Okay, this one's for me, but I'm gonna, you can jump in too. I know you're not an Ohio State fan. That's not fair, but not that I don't like them. Is this the year Ryan Day beats Michigan? No. Short answer for you.
Go ask her.
What's that?
Go ask her.
If you gotta ask her about anything, you got troubles. No, I don't know. I don't think that. I still think I'm not sold on Ohio State and Michigan, but I'm a hell of a lot more sold on Michigan than I am on Ohio State.
Yeah, they definitely look a lot better than last game.
Yep, they absolutely do.
Personally, I don't think Ohio State is a top 2 team. Not in the Big Ten, but in the Big Ten East. Wouldn't even put them in the top two.
Well, you got to give some props to the people who play out in, college, in State College, Pennsylvania, because they're pretty much, pretty darn good team out there. So,
Penn State,
yeah,
is 5-0 against the spread this year.
Yep. And they've recruited really well. They've done a really, really good job of putting that together. There's some interesting information just came out, and that's the Big Ten began their schedule for next year when SC and UCLA and Oregon and Washington are all in it. The 18-game model has 12 projected annual matchups. So, and that actually, for those who don't know, that happens schedule-wise in the SEC, where you almost always play the same teams each year, but then they rotate some people in and out. So the 18 team model with the 12 matchups is there'll be a pod where Illinois, Northwestern, Purdue, Indiana will always play each other, as well as Iowa and Minnesota. Then it'll be Wisconsin, Maryland, Rutgers, and Michigan. Makes no sense. Okay, Michigan State, Ohio State. That makes sense. Minnesota, Wisconsin, Oregon, Washington, and SC UCLA. Well, Oregon, Washington have played each other for a long time. Minnesota, Wisconsin has, and USC and UCLA has. So I guess they just jumbled the rest of them up at the top. I mean, Illinois and Northwestern makes sense because, Northwestern is Chicago and Illinois is, Champaign. Purdue and Indiana makes sense. They're, basically about 90 miles away from each other. Iowa, Minnesota, yeah, I suppose that makes sense. So I don't know what Tony Petitti's doing up there, but what's a mother to do? It's going to be an interesting situation with what they're doing at the Big Ten this time around. What do we got in our soccer news for today there, bud? Because I know you had some things going last night that were pretty exciting.
Oh, yes. There was the Copa Sudamericana semifinal between Defense and LDU. That went into 0-0 draw, so LDU advanced on aggregate. They will now play the finals. That game in November. They'll be taking on Guadalajara. Then in the other one, the Copa Libertadores match, there was a wild ending because International had a 1-0 lead for most of that match. And then in about the last 10 minutes of the game, Fluminense scored 2 goals to win the game and advance on aggregate. So they will be in the finals in November playing against the winner of tonight's match between Palmeiras and Boca Juniors.
Huh. Well, there you go. So there's some very quality soccer action after dark here that we can keep looking out for.
Yeah, definitely. Time spent.
Good. Marshawn Lynch, this is just another headline. Marshawn Lynch describes his relationship with Russell Wilson as complicated. Okay? He said, Russ was just a quarterback to me. And I was like, well, what else was he going to be? I mean, I don't think that you guys, celebrated any holidays together. So, I don't know. Marshawn's kind of a weird cat. I don't know what the heck's going on, but he basically wanted everybody to know that, he respects Russell Wilson, but, if he had to play against him, he would be okay with that. All right? Well, good on you, Marshawn. We'd love to hear what's going on. It is what it is, guys. All righty. Let's see. We got another couple of headlines here before we get going. Let's take a quick look at tomorrow's college stuff. Okay, you ready? This is the one you've been waiting for, buddy. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, ESPN2. Eric Fetty and Jack Ford, Cornell at Harvard. That's the game. The Crimson and Cornell facing off at each other. Got a Big 12 game in Kansas taking on Oklahoma State at 7:30 on ESPN. On FS1, you got a Big 10 game, Nebraska at Illinois. So there's your games for tomorrow night as well. So yeah, some interesting stuff I see here. That tonight's game between Sam Houston and Liberty on CBSN, my buddy Chick Hernandez is calling that game. Good on Chick, and Robert Turbin will be it there. Western Kentucky and Louisville Tech, Drew Carter and Dustin Fox on the call for that game. So we all know that Michaels and Herb Street will be on the call for tonight's prime game, and you might want to just turn the sound down and just watch.
Because prime game it will be. Two of the best franchises in NFL.
Well, I mean, the Bears are one of the original. so, and Washington's not one of the original, but close. So, it is what it is. We got a comment here. Let's see what we got. Okay, it's Bill McDonald. Billy, how are you? Any plays on the 3 p.m. Europa games? That's what Bill wants to know.
Let's see.
I don't know, Bill.
Look at all the games. It was just like two that caught. I could probably take Liverpool minus 1.5. They should destroy Jersey. Liverpool's actually really good.
So basically that's where we're looking at it right now.
Yeah, I would go with that Liverpool minus 1.5 minus 2. They should win that or more. They're much better to USG.
All right. Well, there, Bill. Take that one to the bank. And Amadeus, before we get out of here, it's your opportunity now to tell people where to find all the good stuff you got going on.
Yeah, you can get my free plays at BigAl.com, PickAdvisor.com, and TheInsideRoom.com. New site, go check it out. I have some football up, both college and NFL tonight. I'll have some college football and soccer up for the weekend, and obviously some NFL Tuesday, Sunday. So you can go check that out.
Outstanding. All right, gang. It's been fun today. We've got a lot going on. Tomorrow is Friday, so we're going to be taking a look at everything having to do with the weekend. And there's a ton of stuff going on the weekend. And, don't forget that all the information on where you can find Amadeus is in the show box below. And check it out. Leave us a comment if you didn't have a question answered. And we will be more than happy to answer it or do our best to try. Okay? So until tomorrow, 2 o'clock, everybody. Have a lovely day. Stay safe, and we'll see you then.